Hello friends and new friends. Thank you guys first of all for watching my very first video. I had like 100 views in that very first day and I think it's like still staying around 100. I stopped watching after that day that I posted it, but I just appreciate it so much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate that you want to have a conversation with me. One of the best, I love all your feedback. Thank you so much for all your feedback, both yes girl go get it, or I love that topic, or here's something to, I don't know, do differently or work on. You guys like the lighting. Hopefully lighting is still going well. Oh, and I like tidied up as much as I possibly could behind me. That crib is full of clothes that don't fit him, and we don't put him in the crib yet or whatever, so I just threw a blanket over that. It works. But yeah, thank you so much for everything. And I really appreciate the feedback that you guys gave me as far as topics to cover and to consider. And all of you who want to be interviewed, I'm really excited to do that, to work that out. As of right now, I'm just going to do videos on Sundays. But as Blake gets a little bit older and my schedule gets a little bit more of existence, we'll be able to schedule some of those things and interview you guys. So I wanted to kind of jump right in. One of the pieces of feedback that I got was they felt like they were having a chat with a friend, just like over coffee or something. And that just means so much to me because that's what I'm going for. Again, like my last video, I said about how editing isn't fun. Well, not only is it not that fun, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing, right? And it's super time consuming and time just isn't a luxury that I have right now. So I just want to be able to start something like I was telling you guys that Gary Vee was saying to do. And I'm really glad that I'm doing it now because as Blake does get older and he does get more on a schedule, at least I'll have already started this channel and this kind of avenue of the business. And you never know who is watching and who's like falling in love with your channel or your business this way. And as I've told you guys, I want to become more lifestyle and not just finance, although I do have some finance tips today. Hopefully we can get to them. I'm going to try to stay within 10 minutes like I did last time, which I've also gotten feedback on of people saying, yes, that sounds great. So something that I've realized is that my audience that I'm talking to, it's definitely like my girlfriends, whether you're a mom or you're not a mom. I'm just talking to girls. Now I'm talking to females or people who identify as female. I don't know how to serve the men. Okay, I don't have a clue. I don't know what you guys talk about. If you're listening to this and you happen to be male, maybe this will help you. I don't know, in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not. In any case, I'm a girl's girl, so this is definitely like if the Spice Girls had a podcast, which they should do, this is what it would be like. So one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, so a bunch of topics that a lot of friends were talking to me about, like, oh, you should do a podcast on this or an episode on this. Mom shaming and mom guilt came up like all the time. Every single person that is a mom was saying those things that I should definitely talk about, which I really appreciate because I feel like I'm so new that I want to talk about my experience now so I can look back on it and add to it or see how it's grown, see if I was crazy, who knows. But something that I've experienced even more than mom guilt and mom shaming is like mom splaining. And that's something that I'll talk about in another episode, but definitely this idea of unsolicited advice and people who, and it's just all over the place. Even when I was in the hospital after giving birth, I guess it wasn't necessarily mom splaining, it was like nurse or doctor splaining, but like everybody has got their own way of doing things. And it's so hard because you want to do it right. You want to be good at this. And that's just people in general. I think that could adhere to anybody who wants to be good at whatever they're doing. But as a mom, as a woman, I think there's just something in you, and I'm going to generalize, maybe you're not feeling this way, but how I'm feeling is there's something in me that I want to do this right. And there is no right. The right is keep the baby. That very first doctor's appointment with Blake, I must have had, and I'm not kidding you, like 25 questions. One of the questions was, do babies sweat, right? Like I had already Googled if babies sweat, but like I needed to hear it from like my doctor that babies sweat. Like crazy questions. And she was so patient and she answered every single one. And I realized as we were leaving, I literally got into the car and I'm like, and she just kept saying, she's like, he's perfect. You're doing great. I could cry because that's like, I think that's all moms need to hear, whether they're of newborns or of 34-year-olds. Mom, you're doing great, by the way. Okay. So anyways, the second time that we had a doctor's appointment, I didn't have a freaking question for her because I was like, you know what? This kid is fed. He doesn't have a dirty diaper. He barely even has a diaper rash. Like, I'm killing it. I'm killing the game right now. And part of that advice was from my darn self, listening to the podcast that I did with Mind Bloom that I talked about last week. Just hearing pre-partum, hearing not mom Tessa talk, and hearing her say, just keep the baby alive and like you're killing it. I'm like, yeah, she's right. She's right. So anyways, one of the things that moms will tell you, or I guess I should say that moms told me before becoming a mom, was ask for help. Make sure you ask for help. I have a good friend who is so my husband Phil have a friend. I don't know if I'm allowed to say people's names on YouTube, but I'm going to say it. It's not like I'm freaking famous, okay? There's like 100 people watching. So Carrie, shout out to you, Carrie. I think about you more than you know, because Carrie is Phil's friend David's wife, and I love her. And she had said to me, like legit eye to eye, was like, make sure you ask for help. Make sure you let, like Phil take over. This is his son too, kind of thing. And when she was telling me, I'm like, duh, this is 50-50. Like, I'm going to be getting my showers. I'm going to get my pedicures. Like, my life, I knew my life would change. I'm not an idiot. I knew my life would change, but I did not realize how hard it would be to ask for help, because I thought to myself, duh. If I haven't showered in 4 days, I obviously need help, right? Or if I haven't, whatever, if I'm losing my freaking mind, I obviously need help. So something that I've realized in the past 4 weeks of being a mom is I don't know how to ask for help. And I think that this is not just because I'm a mom. I think it's just been emphasized, like the little carrot, like the sixth power or whatever. I think it's just been emphasized because I don't think I've ever known how to ask for help. And if you guys have ever heard of Enneagrams, I'm not really sure how to say it, but I'm going to post a link to it because I think it's so important for people to, I shouldn't say so important, but I like it, okay? I like personality tests. They're fun. And I do think it's important for people to know themselves. However you freaking want to know yourself. Get self-aware. Figure it out. So one of the ways that I do that are personality tests and an Enneagram 2. Enneagrams are so interesting. I highly recommend you researching them. I'll even maybe post a link to a podcast with Brene Brown that was really good. But as an Enneagram 2, they are the helper. They are the fixer. They are the person who it's like, someone died in your family, or you just had a newborn baby, or you have a crisis or a not crisis. That is the person that you call every single time to help you with something. That me, the listener, the whatever. And I'm not great at listening. I'm more of a Dr. Phil at listening, but if you're calling me, I know it's because you need some advice. And I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. But the thing with an Enneagram or Enneagram 2 is, yes, I love to help. I'd like to think that I'm good at it. But the bad part about being an Enneagram 2 or about being a helper is, number one, I don't know how to ask for it myself, even though my friends are desperate for me to ask because I never do. And number two, okay, wait, I don't know how to ask. Do you guys like this? And I'm not stopping because I'm not editing this stuff. I don't know how to ask, and, well, it doesn't matter because that's the whole topic of this friggin' thing. I had a point, but anyway. So with that being said, as far as becoming a new mom, something that was happening is Phil would keep saying to me, hey, just let me know if you need anything. Let me know if you need anything. Let me know if you need anything. And it got to a point where I let myself get to a zero, right? If every single morning you wake up and your cup is 100% full, or you're a water tower or whatever else, and throughout the day, something takes 1% away, something takes 20% away, whatever that is, I let myself get so below zero before I should have asked for help when I only, when I had, 60% left. And I've, read about why it's so hard for women to ask for help. There's no way I'm going to keep this under 10 minutes. I just ain't going to have time. I've read about why it's so difficult for women to ask for help and just different tips and things. And, something that I fell into is when I did ask for help, he didn't do it the way that I wanted him to do it. And so it was just easier for me to do it. I had a bodily reaction to Blake's cry. Number one, lactating. I mean, that's legit. And it's getting better. It's getting better. The more that I give Blake to Phil, that bodily reaction to his cry is getting better. I'm also learning his cries. So I'm understanding that every scream isn't like detrimental to my health or something. Also, Blake calms down when I hold him. So I just felt that sense of responsibility. That's a whole other 10 minutes I could talk about, is the responsibility that I feel as Blake's mom, as the mom, as a woman, to take care of him. And it's not even the idea of like doing a good job or anything like that. Like I feel it in my body that it is my responsibility to make sure that kid is not crying. When the reality is babies cry, right? Like I know these things. I am not too nuts of a person. But when you're experiencing it, there's like a chemical thing that's happening that I never knew as a non-mom. That should be a podcast too, the non-mom. So for any of my non-mom friends, you should totally make one and interview me. I just didn't know. I didn't realize that. So when people would say, ask for help, well, duh, of course I'm going to ask for help. But before you know it, when your baby's feeding every 2 hours and he's feeding for 45 minutes, and then after you're done, you're changing him and, I don't know, burping him, and maybe get yourself a glass of water, it's time to feed him again. And it just goes in this cycle. And then you look like the dang troll on Lord of the Flies or Lord of the Rings or whatever. And I'm just like, help me, help me. So, I mean, that's really what ended up happening, is I didn't ask for help. And it's not even like I don't know how to say the words, can you help me? It's just that I didn't recognize when I needed it until it had been probably about 2 weeks, and I had been running on 2 to 4 hours of sleep, pockets of sleep too, never like a full 8 hours. And I just lost my gourd, and Phil was like, let's figure this out. Thank God for a good partner. Thank God for a partner that cares about me and my mental. I'll cry and cry and cry. But I think about people who don't have that, or who don't, whole other situation. I'm just very thankful. So, whole other episode, I guess I should say. So we sat down and we tried our best to figure out a schedule where I can be getting, at least 5 hours. 6 hours would be amazing. 8 hours is gone. That ain't existing, of real sleep. And it's a crazy schedule, but we tried it last night and it worked. And especially thinking about, Phil going back to work and everything like that coming up, we need to figure out something, because this whole idea of being a mom to a newborn, the idea that maternity leave is not, oh, I can hear my baby now. The idea of maternity leave not being something that everybody gets is insane to me. I hope someone's making a list of all these times I say whole other episode, because I'm telling you, I can go on and on. In any case, I think that it is something for moms to be, people who are thinking about being a mom, even just women in general. I'm really curious to hear from women in general about if it's hard for them, whether they're an Enneagram 2 or not, to ask for help. Is it because we feel less than? Is it because we feel like it's our responsibility? Is it because we feel like we do it better? I identify with all of those reasons as to why I don't ask for help, even when I do know that I need it. But becoming a mom, see, like right now I can hear Blake crying. You might even be able to too. And I feel like it's my responsibility to hit stop and do this whole thing over. But Phil has a bottle. He knows how to change a diaper. It's his dad. It's fine. He's fine. He's got this. It is not always my responsibility to take care of Blake. He has a dad. So, I am going to wrap this up, but I am really curious to know if you identify with asking for help being something that is difficult for you, why you think that is, and how you're working on it. Because I can tell you right now, I forgot to tell you about the schedule. So the schedule was me sleeping from 6 p.m. to midnight while Phil stayed up with the baby. And then I'm up the rest of the freaking time. And some people, put their baby in a bassinet and like let them sleep and whatever. And that is great. And I'm sure you guys are all going to flood my comments with advice. And I'm going to get so many text messages of advice. And that's great. If I don't take it, if you talk to me like you know everything, I'm going to block you. We've tried a lot, I will say. And for right now, this is working and we're going to see how this goes. So 15 minutes, I stayed under 20. Sorry, it's not 10. Sorry, I'm not going to edit it. And I'm definitely going to come back to this topic because I think it's something really important to get kind of the pot stirring on why is it so difficult for us to ask for help, and why does it get even more difficult when you become a mom? Why? And how does society play into that? One more thing, because the other day I was in the pediatrician's office and there was a sign that said like, if your kid was born in whatever, 1983 or whatever the freak, they probably don't have their shots for, well, I guess 1983 isn't a child, but whatever. If your kid was born in such and such date, they probably don't have their shot for hepatitis B. So moms, ask the checkout counter how you can, or ask your nurse how you can get a shot for hepatitis B. And I took a picture of that. And I said to myself, why are you targeting a mother specifically? First of all, not every kid has a mom. Let's just get onto that tangent, but not really because I'm already at 16 minutes. Secondly, why are we always calling out moms for it to be their responsibility? Like, so not only are there's already this biological situation happening, but there's also societal pressure and pressure from other moms. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. So if you liked any part of this video, I would love you to like and subscribe. If you want to hear more different topics that are, I don't even know, I guess the title of this one is Thoughts Inside Tessa's Head. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to be interviewed, one of my friends, I would love to interview you. I just have such cool friends, and I think you guys all have amazing stories to share, and I love being inside your heads as well. And so like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, the.walter.years. We're also on Facebook, and I think that's about it for today. I love you. Mean it. Bye.